Hello guys, it's Mati Help. So today we're going to discuss about logical connectives. So logical connectives. So far, as expressed here, today we're gonna use the symbolic representations, which is the and, the or, the implies, the by implies. Okay. As you've seen here, I've written some couple of statements here, PQR. So we're gonna start straightforward by doing some sample questions. And as you know, if there is a need to repeat, the n, this symbol represents and. Okay. This the v sign kind, the v kind of sign represents or, and an arrow that's actually pointing direction in the right side is called the implies, and this one that has two arrows, okay, that's two arrows here, is called the by-implies. So if you know this, let's dive right into the questions, okay? Um, so I'm gonna start by um, formulating a table, okay? So it can be easy for us to cover many questions, okay? If I said just P conjunction Q, or maybe let me just connect this one. It's not going to be covering the large portion, so we're going to use table to express these. So on the first statement here, on the P, we see that P says 2 is an even number. This statement is true, so we will say that P is true. P value is true. The Q, 30 is a prime number. Okay, 30 is not a prime number. 30 is a composite number, so Q is gonna be false. Our statement says dogs are bigger than rats. It's gonna be true here again. So let us start the table here. Okay, if you can see the table. Um, Sorry, I messed it up around here. There's the P, there is the Q. Okay, we're gonna do the P and the Q only for the first. Okay, we're covering the R later, and let us say, let us use as the first indications the conjunction and the disjunctions. Okay, if we use P conjunction, let's say we have P and Q here, so P conjunction Q and P disjunction Q, right? Okay, we will say true true, false false, true true false false. Okay, true false, true false. We use this technique for two statements. When we have two statements, PQ or another maybe AB, we will use for the two variable statements this kind of method to write the table. We will give uh, these values of truths and false for these two. So let's proceed. If the value of P is true and the value of Q is true, on the conjunction we can say true. Okay, this is always true. What about if it is true here and if it is false here? We're gonna say it's false. Again, the same story comes here. When it's false here and it's true, it's gonna be false again. If it has true false, again false. When we come to the disjunction, when we have true values for the both, we can say it is true. Okay, what if one of the values is true and the other is false? Again here, this disjunction, so it's gonna be true. What if the one value, which is the p-value, is false and the q-value true? We're gonna say, again, true. If both of the values are false, we say it's false. The basic difference between these two is the value of the conjunction is true if and only if both of the statements are true. Okay, that's it. In the rest of the conditions, it's going to be false. But during the disjunction, it is going to be only false if the two values are false. As simple as that. Okay, so note that if the two values are true, it is during the conjunction, it is true. If the true values are false during the disjunction, it's going to be always false. Okay, after we understood this one, it is better to proceed to the next, which is the by implies and the implies one. So let us proceed to the implies and the by implies. Okay, P, Q, P implies Q, and P by implies Q. We can use another table because we ran out of space here. Sorry. So let us use a table for this one, for the P and Q here, if you can see, and the P implies Q, and P by implies Q. Okay, let us write the true values and the false. True, false, true, false. Okay, let us go to the P implies Q parts. Let us play this one. So P implies Q. If the P value is true and the Q value is true, we will say it is true. It's always true for the implies. If the P value is true and the Q is false, we will say it is true. Sorry, it is false value here. So in the implies, it's gonna be false. If there is a false value here and if it is a true value here, it's gonna be true. And if it is false here and if it's both false, we will say it's true again. If there is a true value in both of them, true, true, false, false. There is only one false, in which the one is true and the other is false for the implies one. What about the by implies? In the by implies, in the cases of true values, both true value and the both false value, it's gonna be true. For true, true, true. For false, false, false. For false, false is gonna be true. If it has true values of both and false values of both, it's gonna be true. But if they are different, if the statements are different, if one is true and the other is false, it's gonna be false. It is as simple as this is the concepts. So this is the implies, the by implies, and the conjunction and the disjunction questions. Okay. So based on the first question, let us do some questions here. Let us consider these three statements and let's do some question. Let us do, for example, P or R. Okay, and P and Q. Okay, this is a random question and let us do P implies R and Q by implies q by implies r. You can see that this is a by implies. Okay. Okay, we will write these values. First of all, let us know that the p value is an even number, which is true. The r is looks are bigger than that. It is true again here. So true or true, this disjunction true, it is gonna give us always true. Let us do the next one. P conjunction q true, which is q is false, right? If there is a conjunction, if both of them are different, which means one is true and the other is false, I mean, like, it's only true for conjunction during if the both values are true. So we're gonna say this one is false. The next one is p implies r, which is p is true and r is true. If both of the values are true, it is true. In the implies, as we have early mentioned, it's only false during the time that the values of p is true and r is false. So yeah, in the q, b by implies r, q is value false, the r is true. So during the time that in the by implies, if both of the statements are true or if both of the statements are false, it is going to be true. But if both of the statements have a variable statements or truth values, it's gonna be false. So it's gonna be false here. So guys, so far as we have discussed here, this is so much about the video. We have learned about the implies, the by implies, in the conjunction and disjunction. So in the next multi-help, the part 2, we're gonna discuss about logical connectives, including the negation and logical connectives that includes three statements. Okay, the street is gonna be expanded. So see you guys. Bye.